The first day at a new school was supposed to be nerve-wracking for most people, but to Maya, it was just another day of keeping her head low and staying invisible. She had moved more times than she could count, each time starting fresh in a place where no one knew her name. That morning, as she walked through the tall iron gates of Brookside High, clutching her worn-out backpack, she could already feel the stares. She was dressed in plain jeans, a loose hoodie, and sneakers. Nothing flashy, nothing to invite attention. But somehow, attention always found her. The hallways buzzed with chatter. Lockers slammed, sneakers squeaked on the polished floor, and the scent of cheap cafeteria pizza drifted through the air. Maya moved through it all like a shadow, keeping her gaze forward. She didn't notice the trio leaning casually against a row of lockers up ahead. But they noticed her. Brittany, the self-proclaimed queen bee of Brookside High, wore a smirk that could cut glass. Flanking her were Hannah and Kelsey, her loyal sidekicks, always ready to laugh at the wrong person's expense. They spotted Maya instantly, a quiet, solitary figure with no friends around her. Easy prey. New meat. Brittany whispered with a grin, and the other two giggled. By third period, Maya had already been, accidentally, bumped into twice, had her books knocked from her hands once, and heard a loud, mocking, "Nice shoes, Grandma," echo through the hallway. She ignored it all. Years of moving from place to place had taught her that reacting only made it worse. Still, she felt the tension building. She could handle verbal jabs. It was the physical stuff that crossed the line. Lunchtime came, and she sat alone at a corner table, quietly eating the sandwich she'd packed from home. The cafeteria was loud, a chaotic mix of voices and clattering trays, but her ears still caught Brittany's voice carrying across the room. "Hey, who's the girl that thinks she's too good to sit with anyone?" Brittany said loudly enough for half the cafeteria to hear. "What's the matter, new girl? Afraid you'll catch something if you sit with normal people?" The laughter that followed was sharp and cruel. Maya's jaw tightened, but she kept her eyes on her sandwich. Then came the first real push. Brittany strolled over, tray in hand, flanked by Hannah and Kelsey. Without warning, she tilted her soda, letting a thin stream of sticky liquid drip across Maya's sandwich. "Oops," Brittany said, feigning innocence. "So clumsy." Maya stood slowly, not in anger, but in quiet, measured control. She looked at the three of them for a long moment. "You don't want to do this," she said softly. The cafeteria seemed to still, like the air had changed. Brittany blinked, then burst out laughing. "What are you gonna do? Cry?" Maya simply picked up her bag and walked out. By the next day, the rumors had already started. The new girl was weird, creepy, maybe even dangerous, depending on who you ask. Bullies thrive on reaction, and Maya had given them almost none. But to Brittany, that was a challenge. She wanted to break her. That Friday after school, Maya took the long way home, cutting through the side alley behind the gym. She should have known they'd be waiting. "Well, look who it is." Brittany's voice called from behind her. The sound of sneakers scraping the pavement followed. Maya turned to see Brittany, Hannah, and Kelsey blocking the exit, arms crossed, smirks on their faces. "You've been acting like you're better than us," Brittany said, stepping forward. "Let's see how tough you really are." Maya sighed. She didn't want this. She had promised herself she wouldn't fight again, unless she had no choice. But the way Brittany shoved her shoulder hard, nearly knocking her off balance, made it clear. There was no walking away now. Last chance, Maya said quietly. Or what? Brittany sneered. It happened in seconds. Brittany lunged, reaching for Maya's hoodie, and in one fluid motion, Maya sidestepped, grabbed Brittany's wrist, and twisted. Brittany yelped, her knees buckling, as Maya guided her to the ground with a controlled precision that was far from random. Hannah rushed in next, swinging wildly. Maya ducked under the punch, swept her leg, and sent Hannah sprawling on the pavement. Kelsey hesitated, eyes wide, but then screamed and charged. Maya pivoted, catching Kelsey's arm mid-swing, and used her momentum to send her stumbling forward before pinning her against the wall. Gently, but firmly enough to make a point. When it was over, the three of them sat stunned on the pavement, breathing hard. Maya hadn't thrown a single punch to hurt them. Every move had been defensive, controlled, like someone who knew exactly what she was doing. Brittany stared up at her, disbelief written across her face. What are you?" she whispered. Maya stepped back, letting them go. "Someone who doesn't like hurting people, but I will, if I have to." Her voice was calm, steady, the voice of someone who had nothing to prove, but everything under control. Without another word, she walked away, leaving them in stunned silence. But the truth was, this was just the beginning. Bullies don't take humiliation lightly, and by Monday, Maya would find herself facing something much bigger than three mean girls in an alley. If you think that was intense, wait until you hear what happens next, because the real fight hasn't even started yet. The bullies won't just want revenge. They'll bring in someone far more dangerous, and Maya's past will come crashing into the present in ways no one expects. By Monday morning, the story of what happened behind the gym had spread like wildfire. In every corner of Brookside High, students whispered about the new girl who took down Brittany and her crew like it was nothing. Some made her sound like a superhero. Others called her a freak. Brittany walked into school that morning with a bruised ego and an actual bruise on her wrist. Her pride hurt worse than anything else. She wasn't used to losing, especially not in front of witnesses. The humiliation burned inside her, and she wanted payback. She found it before first period, leaning against a wall near the gym entrance. His name was Tyler Brooks, a senior with a reputation for being untouchable. He wasn't just a bully. He was the kind who got into underground fights for money. The kind who had been suspended twice for accidental injuries during sports. His knuckles were scarred, and his eyes carried the kind of cold confidence that made people move out of his way. Brittany didn't waste time. "I need a favor," she said. Tyler listened, his smirk growing as she recounted what happened. "So, you got embarrassed by some skinny little new girl," he said, almost laughing. "She's not just some girl," Brittany said quickly. "She's different. The way she moved. You want me to scare her?" Tyler interrupted. It wasn't a question. Brittany nodded. "Not just scare her. Make sure she never thinks about stepping out of line again." By lunchtime, Tyler had already decided to make his move. He spotted Maya sitting alone at her usual corner table, calmly eating as if the noise of the cafeteria didn't exist. He walked up, his shadow falling across her tray. "You're the one who made my friend cry," he said. His voice was deep, slow, like he enjoyed the weight of each word. Maya looked up, her gaze steady but unreadable. "I didn't make her cry. She made choices." I responded. Tyler chuckled. "You talk like you think you're in a movie." He leaned closer. "How about we make this real?" She didn't answer. Instead, She took one last bite of her sandwich, stood, and picked up her tray. "Walk away," she said quietly. That answer only made Tyler grin wider. "I'll see you after school, alley behind the rec center. Don't make me come looking for you." The rest of the day felt heavier. Not because Maya was scared. She wasn't. But because she had promised herself she wouldn't draw attention. Every fight risked exposing the past she was running from. But avoiding Tyler now would send the wrong message. After the final bell, she walked toward the rec center. The alley was already crowded. At least 20 students had shown up, phones ready to record. Tyler was there, cracking his knuckles, his friends forming a loose ring around the space. "So you showed," he said. "Good. I hate chasing cowards." Maya dropped her backpack at the edge of the ring. "Last warning, Tyler. This won't go the way you think." He lunged first, fast for his size. His fist came in hard, aimed at her jaw, but she tilted her head just enough for it to pass harmlessly. Before he could recover, she stepped inside his guard and tapped his ribs, not hard, but precisely. Tyler grunted and swung again, faster this time. She caught his wrist, twisted, and sent him stumbling forward. The crowd roared. Phones caught every movement. Tyler came at her in a flurry now, wild punches, a knee strike, a grab for her hoodie. She moved like water. Every motion smooth and efficient. She blocked high, swept low, and spun him into the wall without breaking a sweat. "Stop playing," he snarled, shoving off the wall and charging again. This time she didn't just dodge. She caught his arm, hooked his leg, and used his own momentum to flip him flat onto the pavement. The crowd gasped. Tyler lay there, stunned, as she crouched beside him. "You fight for ego," she said softly. "I fight because I have to. That's why you'll never beat me." She stood and walked away, leaving Tyler on the ground as the crowd parted in stunned silence. But the fight's video hit social media within hours, and that changed everything. By the next morning, it had over 100,000 views. Comments ranged from, "Maya's a queen," to, "She's scary AF," to, "Who trained her?" Teachers tried to stop the gossip, but it was impossible. What Maya feared most was the attention, because attention always drew the wrong kind of people. By Wednesday, she saw him, a tall, older man in a black jacket, standing by the school gates, watching her. His face was expressionless, but she recognized him instantly. Colonel Harris. After school, he intercepted her. "It's been a long time," he said. "You've been hiding your skills well." "I told you I was done," she said sharply. "And I told you," Harris replied. "The world doesn't let people like you stay done. You think beating up high school bullies is where it ends. They're going to keep coming, stronger ones, meaner ones, until you decide whether you're going to run or fight." She walked past him without answering, but his words stayed with her all night. The next day, Brittany was nowhere to be seen. Tyler avoided her gaze, and most people gave her a wide berth. But peace never lasted long. At lunch, she overheard a group of boys talking about testing her, setting up a real fight with someone from outside school. That evening, as she walked home, 3 unfamiliar men stepped out from behind a parked van. They were older, bigger, and the one in front grinned like a shark. "You're the little fighter everyone's talking about," he said. "What came for the show?" It wasn't a show. It was an ambush. The first man lunged, she sidestepped, slammed her palm into his chest, and shoved him back into the van. The second swung a metal pipe, but she ducked, grabbed it, and yanked it from his hands before sweeping his legs. The third tried to grab her from behind, but she dropped low, twisted, and drove her elbow into his ribs before flipping him over her shoulder. It was over in less than 30 seconds. Sirens wailed in the distance. Someone had called the cops. She didn't wait around. By the time she got home, her phone was buzzing with messages. The fight had been recorded again. The whole town knew her now, and somewhere deep down, she knew Harris was right. She wasn't just the new girl anymore. She was a target, but also a warning. And she decided then and there she wasn't running this time. The next morning, she walked into school with her head high, her movements calm but deliberate. People stepped aside without a word. Brittany stared from across the hall, pale and quiet. Tyler didn't even look at her. Maya didn't need to say anything. The message was clear. You pick the wrong person to mess with, and you'll never forget it. If you felt every second of this, and you want more stories where justice hits harder than any punch, smash that subscribe button right now. Your support means we can keep telling the kind of stories that leave bullies